Hey everybody, Randy here with Stay Broke Business Consulting. Welcome to day 49 of building $1 million business in 1 year. Today we're just going to do a recap on the weekend and our GCS Utilities mountain trip. I know this channel is supposed to be about building a new business, but to build a new business, I have to maintain my existing businesses and properties and all that stuff. Like everything has to keep working in order for me to do this. Like if I'm building money here and losing money there, then what's the point? So I got to make sure everything's running good. This is our team building weekend that we do every year. Last year, or the last time we didn't go last year, the year before we went to the beach like we normally do, and the prices continued to go up over the years. The last time we went, it cost us around $25,000. Of course, at the time we had more employees, so we had to get more houses, but this time they wanted to go to the mountains. Let's talk about what was good, what was bad, what it cost. We had just under 40 people there, including, all the kids, including the two babies. I think we were at 39 people. So it was a pretty large group. We ended up getting 6 cabins or 6 houses on top of the mountain, and it was great. Everybody was super happy with their accommodations. The houses, a couple of the houses were better for entertaining than others, so we used those houses the most. We also did some group activities. We always do our big meals together, and we can hit on some of those numbers. All right, so the overall trip was about a little less than $12,000. The breakdowns for that were our rentals for the houses, total just right around $7,500 for all 6 houses, which is a great price, especially for the houses that we had. The one beach house that we get, the main beach house, last time we rented it was $9,000 for the weekend. We even added an extra day to this trip. So $7,500 for the whole weekend was great for housing. Then we move into group activities, which was mainly the tubing down the river, and then our trip to Grandfather Mountain, combined right around $1,600, and then just random supplies, different things that we bought for the trip, another $1,500, and food around $1,000. And that was just our food. The field crews cooked the whole meal on, what night was that? Friday night. And whenever they do that, they always insist on paying for it all themselves. So I appreciate that. Like I said, we had an extra day to this trip, which was a lot. It was an exhausting weekend. The kids, I think, had the most fun. All the adults had fun, but it was just a go, go, go kind of weekend. It was supposed to be a little more relaxing. The thing that I didn't account for when scheduling everything was the amount of time it took to get everywhere. Our activities, for example, were 15 miles away, but it took an hour to get there and then an hour to get back, just because we were way up on top of one mountain. You got to go down around another mountain. There's still roads washed out, bridges gone from the hurricane, and they're still making repairs on that stuff. So now instead of the direct routes, we're having to go further around, and everything took a lot longer than expected, which meant there wasn't near enough downtime for everybody to kind of relax. So to do it again, I would have probably done maybe like one less group activity or found a better way to spread it out. We didn't really coordinate breakfasts, lunches. We just kind of did, lunch sandwiches or whatever, where when we were on top of the mountain, we took a bunch of lunch meat. That worked out really well. And then we did it again today on our way home. We stopped at a rest stop, finished off the lunch meat, and everybody that was traveling in the group together was able to stop, eat, which was the majority of the group. We just hit up a nice rest area, had a picnic. As far as the houses and communication was a problem as well, because there was no phone signal. Once you got into the house and got on Wi-Fi, we were able to communicate. So we bought walkie-talkies so that we could communicate a little bit easier on the mountain. But you got to keep them on, then they're dying, then, just more challenges. Normally when we stay, we're all close together, so we can just communicate real easy. These houses on the map for the neighborhood looked like they were right next door from each other when they're actually like a mile and a half apart up or down the mountain. So it made organizing everything just a little bit harder. The place we stayed at definitely was not set up for groups. They have different activities there, but we weren't able to take advantage of any of them because they were all like, 4 to 6 people at a time, and each activity takes 2 hours. So we had to get creative in finding places to do our activities. But like I said, it worked out. We had a storm roll in while we were on top of Grandfather Mountain, but then by the time we got up there, we had to wait a few minutes for them to open everything back up, and we were able to go out. Everything kind of cleared up for us, and everybody had a lot of fun. The feedback I got was the majority of the people liked the mountains better than the normal beach trip, so that was positive. Talking to the kids, some of them liked the fishing the most, some of them liked the tubing the most, but they all had fun, especially now that our kids are a little bit older. A few years ago when they were like 6, 7, 8, they were a little less friendly with each other. It was harder to get them to come together as a group. But this time the kids were all together the whole time, having a blast. What else happened on the trip? We had one vehicle breakdown on the trip. One of my employees from the field crew, their starter went out on their car. Luckily, they were able to get a mechanic up today, came from Durham, replaced their starter in their car, and got them back on the road by 11:30 today. The place we stayed at was accommodating. They allowed them to stay in the house past checkout time and use the driveway and not worry about rushing out of there. So shout out to Leatherwood for that. That's the name of the, I guess, resort. Not really a resort, but the community that we stayed in, which is set up for more equestrian style stays. A lot of the houses had stables at them. There's a lot of trails for horseback riding, and there's a big farm there, big paddocks, and it's set up mostly for that, but that's not what we were looking to take advantage of. So some of the amenities that they had weren't an advantage to us, but I could see where that would be a lot of fun if that's what you were into. Let's see, what else am I thinking about? Making videos was a little tough. We're going a million miles an hour. I'm trying to make sure everybody's where they need to be, coordinate everything, make sure everything's set up. And I kept forgetting to turn the camera on, so I didn't get a ton of footage. Like I talked about, we lost one camera during the float down the river, so we lost that footage. We'll have to try and make some of that up. But, Travis was shooting. I was shooting as much as I could. And Travis was doing it on 2 different cameras. So we're going to have plenty of footage to put everything together. We just might have to piecemeal some stuff. But that's kind of the recap of the weekend. That's what it takes to take 40 people on a work trip and, do some fellowshipping and hang out and allow our families to get to know each other. Yeah. So that's a summary of our weekend. So if you didn't see the other videos from the weekend, make sure you check those out, and you'll see some of the activities we did. And if you have any questions about what we did, where we stayed, anything like that, feel free to drop a comment. And as always, like, follow, subscribe, and stay broke.